Hi, and welcome to the Sonrise Pastors Podcast. I'm here with Pastor John, and we are talking about love and marriage. We are going to be talking about what it really means to be married, to leave and cleave. We have some fun stories in there. If you're single, what should you be looking for in a spouse, and much, much more. So please tune in and like and subscribe.
It's been an interesting week in life and ministry, hasn't it?
It's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday, yeah.
So.
There's lots going on in the world. We got Represent Conference this week. Our oldest daughter turns 20 today. When we're filming this, I don't know what day this will air exactly.
Right.
Before Valentine's Day, but...
right now.
But right now, while we're recording this, our oldest baby is 20 years old. Is that pretty wild?
It's kind of weird to think about.
We've been married.
Because I haven't really aged, so
yeah,
it's weird that she is aging.
She's
and
aging,
we're not
and you haven't aged at all. How could that have happened? Man,
it's
so
very strange.
We've got almost 22 years. We're getting close to at the end of this year.
It'll be 22.
22 years.
Mm-hmm.
So we're getting close to where we've been married longer than we've been single.
Yep.
Is that pretty cool?
It is very cool, honey.
Yeah. Is there anything, as we talk about love and marriage today, is there anything that's newsworthy, you think, lately that's been in the headlines or whatnot about love, marriage? Any good romantic comedies that you've seen?
Rom-coms.
Can you recommend them? Can you recommend them publicly?
Actually, I was talking to the kids the other day that I'm kind of disappointed with the selection of rom-coms that are coming out.
Yeah.
Like we watched one that was newer, and it was about this woman who she traveled, and her job was to rate and vacations and write a blog about it.
Yeah.
But it was just kind of a lame movie. It was just not very... Yeah.
So what did you feel like?
There was
the 90s, the 2000s,
plot.
those were that was like the sweet spot for
I think
romantic
so.
comedies?
Like I will go back and watch You Got Mail, Sleepless in Seattle.
Yeah, those are your all-time.
How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
All your favorites though?
Yeah, I mean...
not Sleepless in Seattle. You Got Mail, is that your all-time favorite? It's like one you do every year, it seems like.
It's up there, yeah.
It's up there?
It's pretty sweet.
And what about Hallmark movies?
Yeah, Hallmark has gone down
because they went
hill
woke?
Too. Yeah, they went woke.
So you don't really watch Hallmark,
I don't.
But do you watch those type of movies sometimes on other like platforms?
Where you
They're on a lot of different
the
platforms. It's kind of like the script, right?
Script. You know what's going to happen.
Like the one,
It's the businesswoman who doesn't have time for love, and she works for this dating website, and all of a sudden she's on the website to experience what her listeners or whatever go through, and she meets this guy.
But then there's always like they meet the guy, but then there's like a second guy that tries to like sway it and pull her away. They're not sure it's going to work out, and then like the guy that is supposed to be her true love, he comes in and sees them like talking and something like they were on a date, but he doesn't realize that the girl was telling him like, I don't want to talk to you anymore. I like this other guy, but he thinks it's over. But then at the last minute, it all comes together.
He
and
swoops her away from the city high life society,
and they live happily ever after
on a little farm.
Yeah,
broke, but at least they're in love.
But at least they're in love. Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of people are commenting about Justin Bieber and his Grammy performance, which some people said he was in his underwear, but I don't know, it seemed like it was shorts. Did he have like socks on or like special slippers or something? But like he had some kind of footwear or socks on.
I will say, I'm actually really glad he wore socks or shoes or whatever because when you're walking around, especially in those areas, who knows what's on the ground? It's like disgusting. And your feet are picking up all that.
Are you a germaphobe?
I am actually safe.
You're safe?
Germ safe.
Germ safe? You're smarter than everyone else?
I do. I know.
Oh, my word.
I know where the line is, and I don't cross it.
Oh, good for you. So, anyway, I think a lot of people thought that like his performance was one of the best ever.
Really?
Because he's just like got a guitar that he loops, like plays a loop on his guitar, and then has like a drum pad, like a drum machine type thing.
It was just all him.
Thing.
He did
and he did it.
himself.
Yeah, he set up all the music, and then he just sings. And they're like, where it's all these lights and fanfare and hype, and trying to be outdo each other. They said he got like a standing ovation, and that doesn't usually happen. Like maybe even when he came out before he sang, but like the place went crazy over his performance. And they just said that like people usually, they hype things up, they do all this extra stuff, and then he, like they would refer to sometimes when somebody does an acoustic song or a song all by themselves, like they've stripped down the set, like,
so
and here he is stripped down to just like nothing. He's got like a mirror up there. So some people were saying it was like a statement against Hollywood, like Hollywood like owned him and controlled him and tried to make him into this big thing, and he's like, no, I'm showing you that like even though you tried to beat me down and take everything from me, like when all I have left is just me and my vocal, look at what I got. Like I can still like impact the world or whatever. And so it's kind of an interesting thought, but a lot of people were also saying that it was like really a song about his wife, which I don't know about his song if it was about his wife or not.
I don't know.
But it seemed like maybe it was. And so she was just like super happy. And whenever they would, I guess when somebody showed a clip from like the back.
Yeah.
When you saw a clip of, he was on the video screen, kind of like that live video, right? He's singing, but he's up on the screens too. That they would switch to Haley, his wife, and show her in the seats, just like smiling really big, watching her husband. And they said the place would cheer just seeing her face up on the screen, So I just thought it was really cool to see like a husband and wife in a moment like that were like, it's possible that he's singing about her and he's having like this huge moment, but it's about kind of about a husband and wife and a love story.
That's cool.
And I mean,
because his Holy Holy song, he was with another woman. I thought it was really strange. So that's good that
Bieber has a mix of, like he's talking about the Lord and he wants to be a follower of Jesus and he's sharing things about the gospel that are true and powerful, but then also he's mixing in words and themes and songs that we would not like to see Christians like represent, and but I mean, you're praying for him. I mean, we're praying for him right now. Bless him. But praying for anyway. But I just thought it was powerful that here's like a big public moment and there's like a husband and wife, and people are celebrating. And I think that we need to celebrate marriage and celebrate love. Yeah, I agree. And Valentine's Day is upon us. So we thought we'd do a love and marriage episode. And marriage. I feel like we need that song. What is that from? It's actually from an old sitcom. Oh, yeah, that's right. It's kind of a sketchy show. It's a sketchy show, but the song would go along with what we're talking about. Love and marriage, yeah. Talking about love and marriage. And, there's a lot of young adults coming around our church and ministry, single and ready to mingle, or wanting to mingle, or maybe not wanting to mingle. Well, they're quality young adults. And you're like, you would be great with somebody. You would be great with somebody. You'd be amazing. Yep. And people want to know, how do I find Mr. Right or Mrs. Right? How do I find the right fit? And how do we fall in love or stay in love or choose the right person, And the Bible doesn't give us the cultural norms real clearly. Like obviously the Bible in the Old Testament is written it's written for everybody, but it's written by Jewish people, by the Israelite people, right? By Moses in the first 5 books of the Bible, and then which is known as the Torah, and then also it's written by the other Jewish patriarchs, prophets, people like Samuel, and the different prophets are writing, and they have scribes that might be writing some of their work down, of course, as well. But we don't really get like what was the pre-marriage custom or norm fully. We get it a little bit in the story, excuse me, of Jacob wanting to find a wife and like going into this thing with these 2 sisters, right? Like he wants to marry Rachel and he has to work for 7 years to earn the father's blessing. And then the dad, like on the wedding day, switches his daughters and is like, no, you can't marry Rachel. She's my younger daughter. You got to marry my oldest, Leah. And so he does this swap and he's like, surprise, you're married. And I don't know if there was drinking involved, or there was
absolutely.
really,
I think
really,
that's like the number one.
really thick veils. Like, how much did you have to drink on your wedding night so that
you didn't recognize
the person you're marrying, and then you're like, oh, too late. The marriage has been consummated in the morning, and like
he
it's
didn't
kind
know
of crazy.
Till the next morning, I was like,
actually, sneak preview. We are going to do the patriarchs and matriarchs of the faith through Genesis. Is one of our next upcoming preaching series through the Bible. So we're going to be going through a little commercial for all those that care. I don't know. I don't know who really cares. But like, what's the next? Because we're almost done with 1 John, and then we'll have a few things in Easter Sunday, and then we'll somewhere around there we'll start probably around that time.
Well, I do know that the Bible says a man who finds a wife obtains favor of the Lord.
Yeah.
And it also says that it has a lot of things upon the man. So I do believe that, men should be looking and seeking and preparing themselves along with the women too. But
well, there's been in some ways, like, I've actually had an idea to write on my blog, my Substack, about the perils of prophetic dating.
Perils of prophetic. You got to get another P in there.
Perils of prophetic
partnership.
There you go. Thank you. But like in our kind of world where we do value, of course, we want to have everything built on the scriptures in our Christian faith and upon Christ ultimately. But we want to also follow the leading of the Holy Spirit in our lives,
right?
Which is a good value. But people can sometimes, whether it's just them praying themselves or even getting quote unquote prophetic words from other people, they can really like get into this idea of like, well, I got to have this like prophetic storyline. Like God has to speak to me about this person, and like, oh, I really like this person. I think they're fun to be with. They seem really friendly. They seem like they love God. I enjoy their family. I think they have a similar purpose in life, but I haven't got a word from God that I'm supposed to marry them yet. So sometimes I think we put too much into the prophetic basket.
Yeah.
And we don't realize that, well, the Bible also says, like, if you delight in the Lord, he gives you the desires of your heart. So now, again, it's if you're delighting in the Lord, not like if you're just like trying to have your own way all the time or be selfish. But God gives us needs that he wants to meet. Like in Genesis 1 through 3, that maybe we'll look at a few of those verses today too, is God says when he made Adam and he had made all the animals and Adam couldn't find a partner, a helpmate that was suitable for him.
Need for Adam.
Yeah, he created this need. Like your life is missing all by yourself.
Yeah.
And what does God say? It is not good that man is alone, right? Mm-hmm. And so if you have a desire for a partnership as a man or a woman, like that's a good desire.
Yeah.
And God, like there is a gift of celibacy the Bible talks about, but I think when you have a spiritual gift that you operate in, it brings you joy and delight. That's my conviction. Like if I have a gift of leadership and I'm leading, I feel like, wow, I was fit for this. If I have a gift of serving and I serve and volunteer, or I use my gifts practically to help people, or people that have the gift of giving, when they give, they're like, I love giving. Like it just motivates me. It inspires me to give and help people. I want to do well in business so that I have a lot to give away, So if you have the gift of celibacy, I think it would become a delight. Like I love being single. God's made me to do ministry, maybe missions work, or like to lay down my life for others in an extreme way that I can't do if I was also raising a wife and kids. So if you have a desire for marriage, like that's a good desire. And unless God warns you about somebody real clearly, like, no, I would rather see people just find, like, there was I'm kind of like just riffing on this, right? But there was a back and forth between Beth Moore, who's, a really well-known Christian women's like Bible study author and Christian author and speaker. Mm-hmm. And then I don't know if she's a scholar. I mean, she's a scholar.
She's a study of the word.
She studies the word, but she's not necessarily like, I don't know if she's got like scholarship background, like formal scholarship. But anyway, but she's done a lot of best-selling Bible studies and books. And then there's this guy that's had her speak before at his church, Josh Howerton, and he's become pretty popular in the podcast world and social media. And Beth was like, I think there was a clip of Josh going around about like, go find a pretty, work hard, find a pretty girl and marry her and raise a family. And Beth made some comment and others made comments back and forth, making it sound like, I don't know, almost like it was like worldly or too like, I don't know about demeaning towards women, but Josh had a pretty long response that a lot of people respected. He's like, I think we've overcomplicated things for guys. And like, yeah, if you find a girl's attractive and you like being around her and she loves God and you love God and like like you said, get your life in order, young men, and then start leading, start pursuing that you're going to find and take the initiative. And we don't see a lot, again, of like the dating or courtship or pre-marriage phase in the Bible. We see more about marriage, right? Once you are married. But you're right. That's really good insight, babe. It is a man who finds a wife. So you're implying that the man is taking initiative and taking leadership for the relationship, right?
Yeah.
That the woman isn't pursuing. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong if a woman sees a guy that she likes to like introduce herself and say hi.
I purposely sat by you in Bible school
Oh.
to talk to you. I mean,
I see.
I didn't ask you out. I would never have asked you out.
Oh.
But because I believe that the man is supposed to take the lead in that.
Uh-huh.
And it's better. It's like, I feel like a lot of men nowadays, and not every man, but I see a common pattern is that they want the woman to take the initiative. And I feel like that's kind of the backward.
Do you think that's more from the
stance.
culture though?
Oh, yeah,
Like
definitely.
I don't know if it's the men want the women. Maybe they do, but it
No,
seems
I
like
think
women
there's
are
some
being
men, though, that want the women to
yeah. Well,
make the first move.
I think that that's part of our, I don't want to get flagged for any words on this, but like the triple X culture of the world is that it's showed that women should be forceful in the relationship, like even physically forceful or sensually forceful, or like should be like guys, or these men make these shows about women like having all these different hookups and relationships with men, and like it kind of created a thing where I think like guys want to know like, hey, if I ask her out, is she gonna say yes? I mean, that's kind of like the old funny like elementary school thing, right? Like,
Check
do you
yes,
like
no.
me, or do you like my friend? If your friend, like my friend wants to know, do you think he's cute, or do you think she's cute? Yeah, check yes, no, or is it maybe? Is there usually a third box?
Yeah.
But no, that's what I was wondering. Do you think it's, I don't know, I think it's a lot of times whatever the message is from the world is it starts creeping into how people in the church think.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. Because it's the culture we're around.
Yeah.
But I feel like our current culture, I see men stepping up more. But I mean, it's still scary to pursue somebody because you don't know what the response is going to be.
Oh.
And everyone wants to be loved and accepted.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it is a risk, but I think there's a lot of overthinking that happens for Christians. There's a lot of fear.
You would know.
I would know. Hey, shots fired.
No, but you were the one that got in your head.
I got in my head a lot. Yeah, but I think that I think that happens a lot with spirit-filled Christians is they don't want to disobey God's voice.
Yeah.
And so they can end up being fear motivated.
Right.
And like when they find somebody, they're like, oh, I think they're cute or handsome or I think they're fun. I just think that even in the story of Genesis with Jacob wanting to pursue Rachel, like it's just presented as like a love story. He just likes her. He's like, I want to pursue that woman, and he's choosing someone who's going to be one of the matriarchs of the faith and the lineage of Christ, and it was like, you have to believe that God leads and brings opportunities to us.
Right.
So I think you have to have a trust in God's guidance, even if he hasn't clearly shown you. Now,
yeah. Well, actually, it's kind of interesting now that you say that biblical story. The other biblical story I'm thinking of where the woman actually took the initiative was Ruth and Boaz.
Yeah.
Because she
she sat by him in class.
Sat by him in class. Sat at his feet.
Sat at his feet. Well, yeah, they got a little, I don't even know all the implications of that culture on that story, but like, yeah, it seems a little bit like, wow, she's there by his feet, by his bed. Okay. So, but again, she was like kind of posturing, sneaking in there, but he still had to take the initiative as the man at some point, right, in the story. Yeah. No, what do you think about online dating for Christians?
I hear that a lot of Christians and people have used it to meet people.
Yeah.
And so I don't think it's a bad thing.
I used to be bothered by it, like online, like that sounds sketchy. But then I realized like it's just meeting somebody. As long as you use it that way. I think there's some horror stories out there, but there's horror stories about lots of the way relationships go.
We recently listened to a couple's story that they met online and they're married for 10 years and it worked out. Yeah.
No, marriage is, I think if you meet somebody online, but then you still follow the other regular parts of a relationship, then it's great.
Yeah.
You know, like the healthy parts of like getting to know them, their family, their temperament, if you're a good fit with your beliefs, your direction in life, you know, if you have fun being together. I mean, don't you think friendship is like one of the most important things for a healthy marriage to last?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people are like, are we romantically compatible? And the world's like, well, you got to test drive the car and find out if you're physically compatible. But it's like, that's horrible advice.
Yeah.
Who cares how physically compatible? Like if you have an affection for each other and you have a good friendship, like the romance will blossom.
Right.
It'll get deeper. It'll get better. Versus like, you know, it doesn't have to be all like hot and heavy, like right out of the gate. Like being overly physical complicates it, and it also dilutes your discernment.
Oh yeah.
So when people are really physical before they're married, they often think they're closer than they really are because they have this super high physical and emotional bond, spiritual bond, even if they get too involved and they cross the line into like, you know, a premarital relationship. So it can really throw things off.
And even living together is even more. And even Jordan Peterson talks about couples that live together.
Yeah.
It's like the man, what is he pursuing? What is he fighting for?
What is he fighting for? He's like, hey, he already got
everything.
the helper. Yeah. Right. No, it's true. But I think it can be good to meet somebody through online dating. And if you have the right age, like try to meet people. I think that's important. Try to go places, meet people, talk to people, go on a date that's not even necessarily a date. Like just have coffee with someone after church or set up a time. And I think it can be a good part of Christian community. You have to be careful, like that you don't put pressure on your single people, you know, or that like you try to set people up. That can be good. A good part of community is like, hey, have you ever met this person? Do you guys want to meet and hang out? Come over to our house, but also not putting like an undue weird pressure on people. Do you like them? Is it going to work? Don't you want to date that? Why don't you want to date that person? You know, it can be kind of a tough place for single people too in the church, I think, to feel like everybody's pressuring me. But personally,
it's just, if everyone's pressuring you, though, you could also look at it as you're such a good catch that people just want to see you.
They think highly of you. Yeah. That's a good way to see it. Well, and I mean, we've laughed about this before because like you can get pressure like, why aren't you married yet? And then like you can be like, when you're dating, like, why aren't you married already? And then as soon as you get married, people will pressure you like, when are you going to have kids?
And then when you have kids,
and you have kids, if you have more than 2 kids, they're like, maybe you should get a TV or something. Don't you know how this works? Yeah, like you don't want to, you know, or if you have one child, it's like, oh, you have one kid, like they're going to be a spoiled brat, only child.
Everyone
you
has
need to have 2 kids, and then you're like, then you have like more than 2, and they're like, man, slow down, like, and it's been funny. We've been in public where we literally see people like look at us, and then when we'd have our 4, more when they were younger, 4 kids.
Yeah, now they don't see me. They think that you're with all your kids.
Thanks a lot. They think that you're one of the kids.
Well, because of my height. It's not necessarily because I'm
well, you are beautiful and you are so youthful, babe. Like, what is your secret? I mean, really.
Well.
Yeah.
The blessing of Sarah.
The blessing of Sarah. Yeah. Well, I did see an article that regular intimacy between a husband and wife makes the wife look younger, and also makes them makes their memory better. So it's like just trying to help with memory improvement.
You're just so helpful.
Thank you. But we've had people like whisper, snicker to each other, and be like, "Are these all your kids?" Like they're offended.
Yeah, even in Utah,
they'll say it to us, like,
which was crazy.
Yeah, we thought it was like Mormon families. Yeah, even in Utah, you're right.
I thought that Utah was known for like big families, and we were out with.
Yeah, they had Airbnb houses with like like must be for like the sister wives thing, because you're like, there's like multiple master bedrooms in this house. This is a huge house, which was nice when we were renting it for 2 families to occupy. But it was like, you'd think they were built for big families. Yeah. Well, I think that there's a lot of anxiousness around that. And I think God God wants us to follow his leading and his direction in our life. And he's careful to do that. I think it is good to pray and say, God, is this my spouse? Would you confirm it to me?
Absolutely, yeah.
But whenever we have something that we're praying about that's very emotional, we're very afraid we could get it wrong, or we're also overly like, I want this to happen. Our thinking and our hearing is the most muddled.
Right.
So oftentimes we need to rely, I think, on those other confirmations, like our circumstances lining up, is timing lining up? We're able to honor God together. I'm able to live for Jesus with all my heart with this person. I don't have to compromise who I am.
Yeah.
Sometimes people like describe who they think the right person is for them, and they pretty much just describe themselves, but in like the opposite sex form. And it's like, I mean, it's good to share some interest as a married couple, but often we're not attracted to ourselves. Like we are going to be more complete when that person has strengths that we don't have.
Yeah.
You know, and we kind of like Rocky would say, you know, like I got gaps, she got gaps, we fit together, you know, Adrian or whatever. Right. But there's a completeness that comes when we offer, obviously male and female bring something different to the table, but even in like our gifts or our personalities or our interests, we have a different, you know, personality and a different strength that we bring.
Yeah, it's good. And I mean, for instance, we both like to explore new places.
Yes.
And you really like to explore new restaurants and things like that. And I'm spontaneous, so I'll just go with you, whatever you're doing.
Yeah. Right. You know, but you'll meet a lot of couples, and like one's the saver, one's the spender, one's the planner, one's the spontaneous, one's, you know, one might be more introverted and one might be more extroverted. And again, you might have two extroverts married or two introverts married. There's not a rule. And that's the thing, is people will put a lot of like rules on you. And I think that's why people can get so overwhelmed, is they're afraid of mispleasing God. And they're also like they're so locked into like certain things they've been told. Oh, you shouldn't get married when you're in your early 20s, or you shouldn't get married till you're in your 30s, or you better get married before you're in your 30s, or it's too late, or you shouldn't find somebody, or you should find, you know, and there's all these shoulda, coulda, woulda things that people like will put on you, and they're not really truth. And it's like, if it binds you up and it stops you from just enjoying the process of meeting people, making friends, and potentially meeting your future husband or wife, then it's probably stuff that you should chuck out.
I will say, if you feel like you're having a hard time, you in general, not you, because you're married to me.
Oh, of course.
You found the best. So
the best.
But if you are a single person who wants to get married and you're wondering, why can't I get married? You're probably overthinking a lot of it. Yeah. And that's probably what's causing you to stop progressing and trying to meet people or go out with people, because you're just in your head. And it's just, if you just have fun and enjoy life and have a thankful heart and look at all the blessings God's given you, and just you'll meet the right person. And also, it happens a lot of times when people are serving together at church, or they're in like a community together of some sort. And so, yeah.
So the community, I think, is important, and that's a good point to for us to talk about a little bit. I think that's one thing that's in most cultures around the world, and even in the biblical times, like the community seemed to be more involved.
Yeah.
Like the parents are involved in like helping the patriarchs. You see that in Genesis, like getting in, like, it's time to find a wife. It's time for you, you know, and there's like, so there seems to be like the family's almost working together more so. And I think our culture of dating, it's really interesting if you look up the history of dating, because it's like maybe about 100 years old-ish. People started like, dating was actually a negative term for taking out a woman that sells herself, you know, early on in its history. That was like, if a man was going on a date, it meant he was doing something immoral. But then over time, it was like kind of considered like, I'm going to take a woman on a date and she should give me some kind of like affection or repayment, you know? And so, and then things turned into like high school sweethearts or going steady around the time of World War II became a thing. Like guys were going off to the war, so they would trade, like wear a Letterman's jacket or a class pin or something to say like, we're not engaged yet, but when he comes back from the war, or some even got rushed and got married right before they went to war, because they're like, I'm not sure if I will see them again.
Right.
And so this culture started dating. But before dating started, it was called, in our culture in America even, it was like, and maybe British culture too, I'm not sure. That's the impression I get from stories I've seen. Pride and Prejudice. I'm an expert on history now.
Or Kate Leopold.
Yeah,
I love Kate
right.
Leopold. That's such a good one.
Look at you, just get that happy little dreamy face. You're so cute.
It's so good.
Yeah. But calling, where like a man would come to the woman's house with her parents, and she lived with her parents, and it was a family thing, and like most of all the interactions happened in social events or just being at the girl's parents' house.
Right.
And then they're like in the parlor or the living room or whatever, and they're hosting, and they're trying to kind of impress the guy even, because they're like, we want him to know that this girl's a good catch. If they like the guy, they want to impress him. And then it's supervised. It's not like super physical, and they don't really go out on dates, but they find out if they're compatible.
Yeah.
And there's like a process of community. So I think for people that want to find somebody, I'm not saying we go to arranged marriage or go back to that method that, but I think it's good to involve, like, whether it's your parents, like if you have someone in your life that feels like a spiritual mom and dad, and not like a weird controlling thing,
No.
But or pastors or mentors or just friends that are married that you think you admire their relationship, like ask for their advice maybe.
Right.
Or bring up somebody over. Like, I think we benefited a lot from some of the married people in our lives, helping us through our dating, like our interest in dating season. We had people like Todd and Wendy, and like Ryan and Esther, your sister and brother-in-law.
My mom and dad.
Our parents. Yeah, our parents were involved for sure. That we'd ask questions to, and it wasn't just a solo project.
Right. I definitely think family is a big part, and it'll play a big part in your marriage as you find that person. And it doesn't mean it's going to make or break, but it does add a different dynamic to the person's expectations about marriage and family. So that's always a good thing to talk about. Yeah.
So for people that are like finding somebody and like getting married, I'm thinking I want to see Genesis here, read a couple verses, and then ask you some questions for us to chat about. But when God, makes Adam, and in Genesis 1, and then you see the story is kind of retold in Genesis 2, it says in verse 20 again that Adam could find there was no suitable helper found for Adam. And so it says, the Lord God caused the man to fall into a deep sleep, and while he was sleeping, he took one of the man's ribs and then closed up the place with flesh. And then the Lord God made a woman from the rib he had taken out of the man, and he brought her to the man. The man said, now, this is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, for she was taken out of man. That is why a man leaves his father and mother and is united to his wife, and they become one flesh. And it says Adam and his wife Eve were both naked, and they felt no shame. And so you see the first marriage, the first husband and wife in all of creation comes together, not as two, but as one. They become united.
Yeah,
and some of the translations say that that man would leave his father and mother, and then it says united in NIV, but others say he would cleave or be joined to his wife, and then those two become one flesh. What's interesting to you?
That God didn't take Adam from the ground. She was taken from...
He took Adam from the ground.
I mean, Eve.
He formed Adam out of the dust of the ground. Yep.
But I think it's interesting that he didn't form Eve out of the ground. He took her out of Adam.
Yeah, it is. Some people have said he didn't take her from Adam's.
I've heard Bishop Joseph
head
Matera talk about
from the side.
He took the feminism or feminine part of Adam out.
Yeah, that's right.
And I was like, I've never really heard that.
Well, some have said, I think it might have been a rabbi, if I remember right, that like God didn't take
from the
Eve from a
head.
part of Adam's head, that she would rule over him, and he didn't take from Adam's feet that he would rule over her, but that side by side he took her from that rib so that they would walk side by side together.
It's beautiful.
As one. But there's this idea of when you find the right person, and now this is like a pattern. And for those listening, if you didn't know, Genesis 2, we get, in Genesis 1, we get the dominion mandate where God tells Adam and Eve to take dominion, be fruitful and multiply, right?
Right.
And now in Genesis 2, we get God's definition of marriage and his plan for humanity taking dominion over the earth is going to be through multiplying. And so we see that the foundation of family and multiplying across the earth is family, and the foundation of the family is marriage. 1 + 1 = 1. One man, one woman equals one marriage, and the foundation, the start of a family. But then Jesus reaffirms this in Matthew 19, and then Paul in 1 Corinthians, I think it's 6, but it's in there in 1 Corinthians, and then also in Ephesians 5, he repeats this is God's pattern for marriage, as well as Jesus did in Matthew 19. And then John, he ends the whole book of Revelation, as he's, of course, God's ending the whole Bible. And you see that there's Christ and the church as a groom and a bride in a new heavens and a new earth in a new garden. And so the beginning started in a Garden of Eden, in a place of paradise, with a bride and a groom, of Adam and Eve. And then the last Adam, Jesus, he's the groom, and the church is the bride in a paradise forever and ever. So like the whole story of the Bible is related to marriage and finding each other. So it's really beautiful. But anyway, I'm saying that to say that this is God's plan for marriage, is Genesis 2, and it never changes. It's like how he started it. He confirms it through Jesus, through Paul, through the Apostle John, and shows us that like all the major writers of Scripture confirm this is God's plan, right? So God's plan for human flourishing comes from this recipe. And when people are finding each other and getting married, there's a couple things here that are important for becoming one flesh. It's leaving father and mother and cleaving to the wife. So what happens, Gracie Lane, when somebody doesn't leave fully mother and father when they're getting married? They're starting out in this love and marriage.
Well, first, I was wondering, do you think that's why some people are offended by 1 + 1 = 2?
No, I think that's confused. That's a whole nother subject that we better not get into.
Well,
1 + 1 still equals 2 in the mathematics.
Oh,
world.
good,
Okay.
good.
It's just God's plan for marriage is that 1 + 1 = 1. It's a play on words.
So when you do not cleave to your spouse.
When you don't leave, though, first.
Well, yeah.
That's
When you
my
don't
first question.
leave.
If you don't leave father and mother fully,
I've
what does
seen
that
it
look like?
multiple times where it destroys a marriage.
Mm-hmm.
It destroys a marriage.
What
Because
does?
when the spouse is still connected to their mother or father.
Too closely.
Too closely.
What does that look like? What do you
That
mean?
means like, okay, for instance, there was a situation where the spouse, the wife, is so connected to her mom and her sister that the husband is just required to like watch the kids, and she goes out with them all the time, and she doesn't listen to her husband's opinion about anything. She doesn't care about, and then it's
so
literally
it's
like
so it's valuing
destroying.
too much what your parents or your
Right.
family
The valuing,
agreed.
the
You're starting
traditions.
a new family when you become a husband
You
and
are
wife.
starting your
'Cause
own
you're,
traditions.
You're becoming a
and
one
your own-
flesh
yeah.
union
Right.
that didn't exist before you were married.
Right.
Right. Like a family starts once the marriage comes together. A marriage starts. Right. And so I think there's a couple extremes, because we see a lot of families where they think leave and cleave means like cut off your mom and dad and dishonor them.
No, you can still honor your parents and listen to their advice, but your ultimate person that you're supposed to be making new traditions with and decisions about what you're doing is your spouse.
Yeah, because you're going to find out like whose traditions do we use? Do we use some of yours?
You
some
make
of
your
his,
own.
or do we start
Yeah.
our own? Well, there's some you might appreciate from your upbringing.
I'm saying
right?
you
Like,
can, but ultimately you're making your own traditions.
Sure.
Like our tradition now is on, Christmas morning we spend it with our family, and then we go to whatever else if we want, whatever. But
but then our kids, man,
our kids really like tradition, which is great.
But as they get married, our traditions will change because they'll start.
That's
their own
fine. I'll go on a
traditions.
cruise or
You'll
something.
go on a cruise.
So,
will I
and
be
they
there?
can come or not.
You're gonna go? Do I get to go?
I'll invite you.
You
to
said
come.
you're gonna go, so I was like, oh wow.
Yeah, I'm going to go all by myself on a cruise. Can you imagine me doing anything by myself?
No, she doesn't even like to go to the grocery store by herself.
No, it's more fun to go with somebody. I hate going by myself.
Yeah. So I can't imagine that. No.
Sometimes I like going by myself, actually.
Really?
But that's got to be like
that's
when
debatable.
my social battery
That's
is
debatable.
way high.
Yeah. So, but I think there's been some more talk lately about how family's not just the nuclear family, like meaning husband, wife, 2.5 kids and a dog, or like it's not just the husband, wife, and kids. Like biblically, family is like your parents, grandparents, aunts and uncles, cousins. Like there is a bigger sense of like the tribe or the clan or the family,
which is beautiful.
And a lot of cultures that still practice leave and cleave, they work together generationally. That's not the focus of our podcast, but I think sometimes people think leave and cleave means burn bridges.
Right, which is not true.
And like you could actually create more generational wealth. You could people could live on the same property. I mean, it might be bad advice for some couples to live on the same property as their in-laws, or rent or like have a room in the basement, like, but other times, like for some families, it could be that they work together in a business generationally and they build wealth and they build, they build properties or they do things that can bless communities because God wants to bless. And that's what we'll learn in our Patriarch series. God wants to bless the world through family, ultimately through Abraham because he was the lineage of Christ. But God wants to bless families. Right.
You're very excited about this patriarch.
Yes, thank you. And matriarchs. Yeah, I am because I think it's powerful. So I think sometimes leave and cleave has created people fracturing or being independent
and division, especially because of our culture.
And that's heartbreaking when families, when Christian families especially can't resolve bitterness or arguments, and they just like. Your kids grow up not being able to see their grandparents. Like it's really heartbreaking. It's not a judgment against people. I mean, some people try to work those things out, and it's whether it's the parents or the children or a combination of both. As adults, like it's sometimes it's not in your control. You've done the best you can, and you keep praying and believing for reconciliation. But this does not. I just wanted to be clear. This does not mean fracturing relationships or honor because having grandparents that blessed your children in your kids' lives is. Amazing. Yeah, and even great-grandparents. Right.
We've been very blessed to have opportunity. They got to meet all of our kids.
Yeah.
I think that is a really good point that you bring up, that leaving and cleaving does not mean that you're like, oh, we got to leave, that means we can't talk to our parents anymore and our siblings and, it's all about us and we can't communicate anything. Like communication in all senses is a great thing. You need to communicate with your family still. You need to communicate with your extended family. That's great. That's actually a key.
Communication is huge. If you can't communicate with your own spouse and with your extended family, you're going to have, this is where so much of our turmoil comes from in relationships.
Lack of communication drives me nuts. I'm like, would you just talk to me?
Right. You've got to talk things out. And you got to learn to listen and ask good questions and be present. And if you don't leave fully, like we're talking about here, and like you're saying, like if you don't leave fully and you care more about what your mom thought, if I was worried about pleasing my mom, and I think I have a great mom, but like she's not I am now primarily tasked with caring for you. And so if I'm going to make a decision that my mom doesn't like, but that you like, that we're making together, then I'd make the decision that we're making as a family, not to like spite my mom or like show her a lesson, but I have a new priority. And it's about priorities.
Right.
It's about order, if you will, right? Like the order is flipped now. I'm leaving my parents as the primary place that I'm concerned for my relationship with them. Now the primary place, it doesn't mean I'm not concerned about my relationship with them. I should honor your father and mother for their whole life, but I have a new responsibility that I'm primarily responsible to you and to our children.
Right.
To care for. And you're, responsible to me.
I do remember the first time we were, I think, trying to buy a house or a condo or something like that. And it was very tempting just to go to our parents and ask their advice, which we did. We asked for advice. That's not bad. But the ultimate decision was with us. And it was a very different feeling because you grow up, always going to your mom and dad and asking them like, well, help me choose. But now you're clinging to your spouse and you're saying, we're going to decide this together and we're going to pray about it.
And we're responsible for this decision.
We are responsible. Yeah.
Which it's been fun. We've done that a few times now.
We have.
Yeah. And then it's not only leave father and mother, but it's cleave or be joined.
Yeah.
And so what happens if you don't really give yourself fully? Maybe you're not attached to mom and dad, but you gotta.
I've seen that too, where there's different separate bank accounts, and maybe the one of the wife doesn't take on the last name of her husband. You know, there's just this independence still.
Yeah.
If you're not totally cleaving to your spouse, which it causes there to be a division. Eventually, there'll be some sort of division. It'll come to a head to where you have to choose.
I think when we tell people in pre-marriage counseling a lot, like, you know, anything that breaks up your oneness is an enemy.
Right.
Because God's plan is that you two become one.
Right.
So if it keeps you separate, like you said, great insights, babe. Great wisdom, right? Separate bank accounts, not wanting to take the same name, the last name of the husband. Not, you know, there's different things or attitudes, you know, and if you have major red flags that you can't fully give yourself to somebody, then that's a sign not to marry them. Like there are relational red flags that should come up early, like uncontrolled anger, burst of anger.
Yeah.
If somebody got aggressive with you, you know, it could go either way. We've seen it go either way over the years, where there's an argument and they put their hands on the other person and like with some level of aggression. And maybe it's not like getting punched in the face, but if you're getting like scratched or grabbed or threatened with physical things or bit, like before the marriage, like that's only going to escalate.
Oh yeah.
Once you're married. So like these are red flags. And if you
like gambling addictions.
if there's bad habits that people have, and you like, I can't really trust them fully, you know, like, so I don't really trust them with my money, but I want to get married to them. I'd be like, well, why don't you rethink marriage then with them?
Right.
Cause like, if you can't make your bank accounts come together, you know, then like you're going to give them your soul, become soulmates, you know, in marriage. So, or people will be like, oh, well, this one girl is my best friend, but I'm marrying this other girl.
That's weird.
To me, you're not really giving yourself fully.
Weird to me.
Yeah, you're not giving yourself fully to your spouse then, because you're saying that the person you have the closest friendship with is somebody else.
Yeah.
And your spouse should be your best friend.
You're my best friend.
Best friend. You're my best friend.
You're my best friend.
Right.
You're my best friend. Like a broken record.
There you go. You're really excited about these elf quotes, babe, about movie quotes.
That was the first one.
I know. I made some with Rocky earlier.
See. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you said love and marriage. That was kind of a jingle from a show. Anyway, by the way, everything with Grace is a show. So it took me a long time to figure out that even a movie was a show. She goes, want to go watch a show? And then we watch it. She want to put a movie. I'm like, this isn't a show. It's a movie. And to her, it's all a show. So the more you know.
The more you know.
Yeah. But there are a lot of ways where if you can't give yourself fully to your spouse, then like before you're married, or you're even in pre-marriage counseling, maybe you're already engaged, but there's major red flags. I can't really trust this person. Like marriage will not fix that.
Yeah.
Jesus can fix it. You can fix it and work through it, but it has to be worked through. So just because there's a red flag doesn't mean you should be done with the relationship necessarily. Right. That's why you need wisdom. You need wise counsel. But if you're ignoring the red flags and you're not dealing with them, if some people have had like a traumatic experience in their family, getting married can be traumatic for them. But a lot of people have had traumatic family experiences and they end up having good marriages, but it's usually because they've brought those things to the Lord. They've got counsel, they've got healing, and those things might be hard, but it doesn't rule them anymore, right?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, I was thinking of that Nate Bargatze's stand-up about his cousin getting married. His name was Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
Rehearsal's on Friday.
And they're in like a big fight.
Yeah.
His comedy has quite a bit of funny marriage stuff in it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And he talked about seeing the counselor. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
He's like, now my wife and I, we love each other. We don't really have any marriage problems. So just remember that for what I'm about to say. So we've been seeing a marriage counselor because we wanted to just get ahead of it, you know, like all the pressure and because he's always like, she never thought I'd go beyond like a busser at Applebee's. And so I've made it pretty far. We made it way further than she thought. And it was funny about the counselor. Like, so our counselor's a woman, and I'm not saying that's a problem, but just be kind of nice if her husband was sitting in there sometimes too, just to balance things out a little bit more.
Do you feel that way with the counselors we've seen?
The counselor, if it's a woman, do I need
We've
a guy
mostly
in there?
seen men.
I guess
actually.
So. Well, what can I say? Do you feel like you need a balance?
No, I feel like I have favor. So.
Oh, you're pretty likable, so everybody's on your side first, at least.
At the beginning.
At the beginning.
Until they find out.
Oh, then they find out all.
Right.
No, but it's important that, that Christ is the center of our relationships. And so whether people are dating or they're getting engaged or married, that you put God first.
Yeah.
Abstain from immorality in your
Yes.
relationship. Be exclusive with the person you get married to.
Yeah.
And you got to trust God. Like, there's a lot of fear that comes in. I could lose this person, or, no, you got to trust God. But He made marriage.
Right.
He designed it. Go to the inventor. Go to the creator of marriage, and find His principles. You won't find a rule book in the Bible for how to do everything. You do for marriage. You find some pretty clear commands and instructions for
There's
marriage.
a lot, yeah.
But for dating and pre-marriage, you don't find, but you do find principles about treating people with integrity, about trusting God, about involving wise counsel in your life. So those principles will really help you. But don't overthink it. No. Trust the Lord, and hope that everybody has a happy Valentine's Day. We don't actually even celebrate Valentine's Day. I
was talking with my niece Natalie, because we went shopping today for snacks and things like that, and there's Valentine's stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
And she goes, yeah, we don't, her and her fiance, we don't celebrate Valentine's Day, and we don't either.
Yeah.
But I said, well, once you have kids, you're gonna want to, because that's kind of fun.
We like to do something for the kids.
Yeah. But I was going to say before.
Well, we prioritize our anniversary too. That's like, if some people have fun on Valentine's Day, like, go all out. Like, no, that's great. And celebrate your love. That's awesome. But we just felt like our anniversary was like where we wanted to put our eggs in the anniversary basket, not in the Valentine's basket, right?
That's right.
Sounds like Easter.
Speaking
though.
of
eggs
which,
in the basket.
There is Easter stuff out
Easter
right now too,
oh,
which
boy,
is weird.
Wow, yeah.
No, well, I wanted to add though one more thing to that whole. If you're dating someone and you're wondering if they're the person that you're supposed to marry, the things that bother you about that person will magnify by 10 times. And the things that you love about them will also magnify.
You didn't have anything that bothered you, so.
About you?
Never magnified.
I can't even remember, honey. You're so amazing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, let's be honest. Yeah, you can, even when you love somebody, you can get on each other's nerves sometimes with your little habits.
I don't know what you're talking about. Like,
okay.
You don't get on my nerves.
Oh, really? At all?
You must be talking about personal experience.
Oh.
Are you? Are you? I know. It bothers you that I'm so clean and perfect.
I know.
It's like,
that
is there anything
such
wrong
a high
with her?
standard to attain to for me. It's
I just have
sometimes.
one love language, and it's like vacation.
Vacation is your love language?
Yeah, that's my love language.
Yeah, that's right. Well, thank you everybody for joining Grace and I today on the Sonrise Pastors podcast. If you like this, share it with those single people or married people in your life, or those engaged people. Yep. Until next time.
Till next time.
Signing off.